I think this is a I-80 on north snow event here across Iowa and Illinois, and especially north of I-70 here in Indiana for snow. I think a lot of Michigan, northern Indiana here up toward the South Bend, Gary, and Fort Wayne, Indiana area should get some snow from this, and Toledo, Ohio should get some snow from this as well. I think, again, this is north of I-70, and then we're dealing with some rain further to the south here near the Gulf Coast. Some of that could be heavy going into Sunday. Looking at the snowfall here, this is the RRFS experimental guidance, and this does fairly well. You can see that track here of some clippers snow across the upper Midwest and into the Great Lakes, and then exiting out through New England. And some of this could be enough to shovel and plow across portions of southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, especially again north of I-80, and then into southern Wisconsin there, say from Platteville over toward Janesville, Monroe, Kenosha, and Milwaukee, and then into northern Illinois, north of I-80 up toward the Highway 20 corridor, Freeport, Rockford, Waukegan, and McHenry. Those areas could get a few inches of snowfall, and then over here into portions, say, of Michigan, so Grand Rapids, up through Traverse City there, Kalamazoo, those types of areas in Michigan could see that snowfall through your Monday morning, and some of this could be falling in a fairly good clip. We could see a widespread 2 to 5 inches with some isolated 6-inch totals, not out of the realm of possibility in this setup. Now, heading into the weekend, once we put that snowpack down, it's going to get cold, especially as we get towards Sunday morning. That new fresh snowpack is going to be acting as a freezer and keeping the near surface temperatures very cold. Our temperature anomalies by Sunday morning, if you're heading out to church services, any errands you have to run last minute late this weekend, those temperature anomalies are going to be hovering around 30 degrees below normal, and a very strong Arctic high, 1031 over here into portions, say, around the Fargo-Bismarck area. And that combined with light winds, clearing skies over a fresh snowpack is a recipe for some very cold wind chills. So Sunday morning, we could be seeing those dangerously cold wind chills in that 15 below to 25 below zero range, especially hovering from the eastern Dakotas through much of the state of Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. Definitely watching out for the hazardous wind chills up here, so make sure to bundle up if you're heading out to church Sunday morning or any last minute weekend errands that you may have to run. The further south you go, well, the snowpack's not on the ground, so southern Missouri, for example, we're going to be near freezing on Sunday morning. Now, looking at the pattern as we go into week 2 of December, which would be between Monday, December 8th and Friday, December 12th, we're going to be seeing the cross-polar flow, which is the northwesterly flow that we've been seeing over the deep snowpack of Canada, crossing through the southern Canadian prairies and right straight into the eastern U.S., which also has fresh snowpack on the ground, keeping us a little bit cooler. We have a ridge out west that's going to promote some warmer air as we go through week 2, and you can see that plain as day here on the temperature outlook map between Monday, December 8th through Friday, December 12th. Cold east, warmer west, and especially across portions there of the Ohio Valley Northeast is where we're going to be most below normal with our temperatures next week, and this is around 25 degrees below normal. And again, it's that cross-polar flow coming in from the north and west. Now, this is a classic pattern for clipper systems, the Alberta, Saskatchewan clippers that come down from Canada, and they could bring a few inches of snow each time, and these really come in waves over the next 48, 72 hours. Really, every 48, 72 hours, you start to see these. Here's the European model, and you can see another one early next week moving into the Great Lakes, one right behind that as we go into the middle of next week, Tuesday into Wednesday, and then as we go from Thursday into Friday, another one, and then as we go into next weekend, yet another one Saturday into Sunday. The GFS model in fairly good agreement with this as well, that northwesterly flow and that clipper system track right straight through next weekend, bringing down yes, that colder air, but also some of that fresh snowpack. So here's the European model as far as snow is concerned. This could wobble north or south a little bit, but it looks pretty good. I do feel that we could have few to several inches of fresh snowpack on the ground here by the time we reach the middle of December. For areas in the upper Midwest, for example, the Great Lakes, got to watch out for the lake effect snow. Parts of the Ohio Valley favoring the northern Ohio Valley, and then up here into the New England region. And the GFS model is very much in agreement, although even further north with it, and heavier and more bullish on those snowfall totals. So that's what we're going to be watching. Here is the national blend of models, and again, that gives you a nice composite of all the weather models into one map, and you can see where it averages out across, again, the northern plains, upper Midwest, Great Lakes, lake effect snow, and then into New England here, north and west of the I-95 corridor. Now, if you are looking for some snow further south, I think we got some great news for you here. Once we move past the midway point of December, we got the trough that's still going to be continuing our northwest flow further north in Canada. That big ridge out west is going to be on the move once we go into week 3 of December. This is between the 14th and around the 20th. And you can see there's the European ensemble mean. There's the GFS ensemble mean. Very similar in the look here for our elongated trough across southern Canada and our ridge across the south and the west. And here is the European AI model. This is a deterministic model. And notice it has the trough a little bit more condensed across western Canada, not as elongated. That is something to note as we go into week 3, because there's a little bit of uncertainty here. I think the ridge out west will have a tendency to progressively move further east into the eastern U.S. week 3 of December. That cold air in western Canada will start there, and then we'll shift south with time and then east as we go through the last week of December towards Christmas, for example, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So that could set up a big snow event potentially in the middle of the country with that big type of temperature difference. You got warmer east, colder west, right in the middle. That's where those air masses meet. That's where we could have some bigger snow. But between now and around the 19th of December, which is 2 Fridays from now, this is where we could see an inch or more of snow. And the red, the maroon red, that's 100% guarantee. And notice the sharp cutoff, the further south you go, it's because of that southerly, southwesterly ridge getting us milder air. But there is some opportunity here for some somewhat southern states to get snow. Kansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, and North Carolina again. And then, yes, there's a chance along the I-95 corridor, but we may have to wait a little bit longer towards the 3rd week, 4th week of December to get some of that snow over there. Thank you all for watching. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you found it informative, like the video, share it, and also subscribe to the YouTube channels. We continue to keep you updated on the latest winter weather information here across the United States, Canada, and North America in general. We'll keep you covered. Another video is likely here this evening, so make sure your post notifications are turned on for that video, typically out around 5-6 o'clock Central Daylight Time. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a wonderful and warm rest of your Friday out there.
What's up, guys? Omni here. You guys know how it goes on today, another video. Last night I tweeted I sleep. What recent news, topic, tweets, videos you want me to talk about tomorrow? Yeah, that's right, guys. We're making a video on a Friday. I know yesterday's video was pretty fast and high-paced. If you didn't watch it, you should go watch it. Let me know what you think about that. Today we're going to slow down a little bit, okay? I'm playing around with some things, okay? I'm not going to explain, all right? Just hang out. All right, if you feel it, you feel it. There was a couple people in the comments yesterday who were kind of like, whoa, this feels a little bit turbulent, a little groovy, a little bit different. Okay, just just enjoy the ride, and you guys can give me feedback as things go by. I'm doing things. But before we get started, I do want to say, guys, happy December, because I don't think I said it last time. Congratulations for making it to the last month of 2025. I know. Crazy, right? Didn't expect for us to be here, but we are here, man. January 2025 and all the nonsense that's happening for the past year, at least in the United States, has been absolutely wild. But seeing the progression of this year and realizing that we made it here, I'm still trying to live for Grand Theft Auto, but it keeps getting delayed. I don't know, man. The world is weird. There's something in the air. And again, I think it was ever since COVID, every freaking year, to me at least, has felt like it has been just getting strangely bizarre. We are in bizarre times. That's probably the best word that I can describe the past couple of years. Bizarre. Anyway, let's jump into today's news. Today we're going to do a little freestyle with it. We're just going to go ahead and surf the internet, and I'm going to find some of the things that have been happening today and yesterday and keep you guys updated in real time. But technically not in real time, but here in real time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Time traveling. God damn. Okay, I already checked out some of the news things that's been happening since yesterday and today, and there's a lot. We have a lot to freaking talk about. A lot of big announcements, okay? We're looking forward. A lot of people were talking about this. It says Netflix confirms it will acquire Warner Brothers, including its film and television studios, HBO Max and HBO, for about $82.7 billion after separation of Discovery Global, which is expected to be completed in Q3 2026. Netflix expects to maintain WB's current operations and built on its strengths, including theatrical film releases. Netflix says it will offer more choice and greater value for consumers, enhance studio capabilities, and create greater value for talent. Never in my entire world, when Netflix first came out, and it was out there on those refrigerator type things like Blockbuster, would I ever imagine that they would grow to be so big that they would be acquiring and buying Warner Brothers Discovery. What does this mean? Like, what is the ramification? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Is this Monopoly? Are we getting Looney Tunes? Like, are we... What's happening? So it reads here, transaction unites Warner Brothers' iconic franchises and story libraries with Netflix's leading entertainment service, creating an extraordinary offering for consumers. Netflix to maintain Warner Brothers' current operations. Blah, 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 blah. Let me get to the meat and bones. What does it mean, brother? The acquisition brings together two pioneering entertainment businesses, combining Netflix's innovation, global reach, and best-in-class streaming service with Warner Brothers' century-long legacy of world-class storytelling. Okay, beloved franchises, shows, and movies such as The Big Bang Theory, The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, The Wizard of Oz, and the DC Universe will join Netflix's extensive portfolio, including Wednesday, Money Heist, Bridgerton, Adolescence, Extraction, creating an extraordinary entertainment offering for audiences worldwide. So what you're telling me, basically, is that DC, that's the biggest one that I heard here, DC is going to be coming to Netflix. But also, it sounds like Netflix is probably going to be up in their prices. Now that they've got a new catalog with them, oh man, Netflix is about to be as expensive as cable. We're going back. Netflix is a new cable. The combination will offer more choice, more opportunities, more value, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we've got the strengths and the assets of both of the companies, more choice and greater value for consumers. Okay, by adding that deep film and TV libraries and HBO and HBO Max programming, Netflix members will have even more high-quality titles for which to choose. This also allows Netflix to optimize its plans for consumers, enhancing viewing options and expanding access to content. Damn! They get access to the full HBO and HBO Max? Oh my God, that's a lot of content, bro. Does any of you guys boycott Netflix? Because you're not gonna be able to watch any TV yet. Bro, imagine boycotting Netflix, right? But you got like Stranger Things, like, nah, can't watch it. I don't need it. They're taking over everything. This is a little bit of a monopoly. Who are the competitors now? So we got Netflix, we have Disney, and I don't watch Disney, to be honest. I think I watch Disney just to watch some of the Disney shows and like, but I think they've got The Simpsons and they have a few of the, I think they have Marvel, right? But I don't know if they have something that's like long-standing. They got Peacock, okay? So there's Peacock, there's Prime. So there's still a bunch of other like services that offer shows for like, you know, other networks. But it feels like Netflix is like ahead like of the game by like a large margin. Like their library is massive. It's the point where they take away certain of their shows that you can't watch. They'll be like, "It's only available for this month." Like, no, don't take it away. But their anime catalog, their Korean drama catalog, their documentary series, and they got stand-ups. Netflix literally has all of it. I sound like I'm selling it, right? But Netflix is literally the only one that I kind of use outside of Crunchyroll for anime because I'm a freaking weeb. So let's look at the timing. In June 2025, WBD announced plans to separate its streaming and studios and global networks divisions into two separate publicly companies. The separation is now expected to be completed in Q3 2026. Prior to the closing of this transaction, this newly separated public traded company holding the global networks division, Discovery Global, will include Premier Entertainment, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is kind of mumbo jumbo. The transaction expected to close in 12 to 18 months. So, huge, gigantic merger. Nothing that we're going to actually see happen for a while. It looks like it's not going to take place until 2026. But when it does occur, well, you can expect Netflix to basically own every single TV show, movie, and series on the planet. So why is this bad? I need to figure out. I know some of you guys like, Omni, this is bad news. I'm not saying it's good news, right? But there's a lot of people. Every time there's a news, there's somebody out there like, this is the reason why it's the end of the freaking world, bro. Okay, so let's figure it out. What's going on? Why is this bad news? So outside of the price probably skyrocketing, right? Whatever it is you're paying for Netflix, that joint gonna be way more expensive. Outside of that, this person had mentioned and said one singular mention of theatrical releases in this entire statement, and it's virtually a footnote. They're not even trying to hide it. They're going to kill the industry. People are suggesting that Netflix might be killing the movie industry because they're going to be releasing actual. I mean, you guys know there's a bunch of Netflix movies all of the time that appear. Netflix special, Netflix special, Netflix special. It's not in movie theaters. In fact, Stranger Things is a Netflix special that is now actually going to movies, right? But everybody's watching it at home, and I guess people are wondering if this is going to be destroying movies. I don't think anything destroys movies. Okay, we literally just got finished talking about how like Zootopia 2 is like literally one of the best movies of the year. It's getting released in Japan. It's got high box office sellings, but it's definitely in competition. It sounds like to me that the Netflix is just going to be making movies on both Netflix and, you know, the actual movie theaters. But it says here, Warner Brothers Studios are world class, with Warner Brothers recognized as a leading supplier of television titles and filmed entertainment. HBO and HBO Max also provide a compelling complementary offering for consumers. Netflix expects to maintain Warner Brothers' current operations and build on its strengths, including theatrical releases for film. Tweet here saying, me happy to watch The Batman Part 2 on Netflix day one. Don't do that. Don't do that, okay? The Batman, do not have me sitting out here watching the sequel to The Batman and at home. I want to watch this at the movie theaters. Get out of my face with that nonsense. This person here saying Netflix, by far the largest streamer, absorbing HBO Max, which is the third largest, really should set off some monopoly alarm bells. Not to mention what this terrible news could be for movie theaters and physical media. There's the doom and gloom. That's what we're looking for. Thank you, gentlemen. Gentle doofus. Yeah, so monopoly, not good, because you guys know when there are less competitors, then the people who are in charge can charge you a lot more money. They have a lot more control over the consumers. You, as a consumer, have a lot less options when there is a monopoly, bro. Shout outs to my boys Nintendo. So, yeah, I guess this could be bad. I mean, and also with the economy again, man, I just want to know how much it's going to cost. Also, it's not going to come out until Q4 2026, so we got time. I mean, but I don't know. I don't even watch a lot of TV. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't even watch a lot of Netflix anyway, to be honest. I feel like I'm like the type of person that doesn't watch a lot of like mainstream TV. I only start watching stuff when I'm bored, I got nothing to do. And even then, I've been trying to like read books, go outside, touch grass. Like, I don't know if y'all seen my library. Y'all seen that joint? You see all these books back there, bro? I got books on books on books on books. I've been reading books. You know what? And you know what? The thing about books is there's no subscriptions. It's no subscription service. And they're good. The problem, though, is that you got to have your attention span, right? The brain rot. That's what I've been doing. I've been unbrain rotting. Oh, we're going to a segment about me. I've been reading more books recently, right? Because I feel like, and I've been trying to do things that are not like so dopamine driven, you know? Because I feel like I've been kind of like in a brain rot. You guys, the stuff that we do here, we talk about being on the internet. I have been in a perpetual space of never leaving it. I've been perpetually online, chronically online is what the people say it, right? And the problem is not that like I'm constantly looking at it. It's more so that I don't think I'm ever cutting off that version of me. So like once I'm done with work, after I make this content for you guys, and I'm done, then I'll go back to being a normal person off work. And part of that is me still thinking about what I'm going to do for work the next day, right? And I'm still brain rot. I'm still Instagram reeling. I'm still looking at news. I'm still trying to figure out, still looking at these things, bro. It never cuts off. I think I need help. I think a lot of you guys at home who are artists or entrepreneurs or probably in the YouTube space or content creation, whatever, you feel me that when you don't have that 8 to 5 kind of thing, and this is not a comparison thing to say one is worse. I'm just talking about the effects of the brain, where you can't just be like, all right, I am no longer working anymore. You could be working forever 24/7. And I feel like I've been doing that for a while, and that kind of led to my burnout type thing. So I'm trying to unwind it, and it's been successful. I have a lot more energy now. A lot of it has to do with doing things that you don't like, with your short attention span that's been kind of destroying your brain. A lot of it has to do with doing things like reading. I know, right? Just opening a book slowly and reading word for word. And then when you have a question to something, not going to your phone, not Google, just literally trying to figure it out. It's like going back to the medieval times of the 2000s of just handling paper. I think escaping digital. Anyway, that's my rant over. That's also Warner Brothers as well, being acquired by Netflix. I'll let you guys, if anything else new comes from it, but crazy times, baby, crazy times. All right, guys, this is also apparently big news that I actually don't kind of understand, but we are going to understand it together. Look at that. We're going to do some little investigative journalism ourselves. It's a big headline that a lot of people have been talking about that's been going over my head, that's going to be inside my head in a second. It reads, Micron, a major manufacturer of RAM chips, says it is exiting the consumer memory business and focusing on chips used in data centers /AI. Huh? What does that mean? What do you mean, brother? This comes amid a global memory supply shortage that has seen RAM prices quadruple in price. Okay, hold up. That went over my head. Going to say it one more time. Omni, you're stupid. Yes. You're just now figuring that out? Okay, Micron, a major manufacturer of RAM chips. Okay, so Micron manufactures RAM chips. RAM is the chips. Those are the things that you do when you make your computer to make it go faster, I'm supposed, right? Says it is exiting the consumer memory business and focusing on chips used in data centers. So it's going to only be focusing on AI. This is a redistribution of Micron, who was initially working with RAM, and now they're just doing AI. Is that what is being said? Let me look into it. Let's read. Let's research. Micron to exit consumer memory business amid global supply shortage. Okay, and it reads here, December 3rd, Reuters, memory chip maker Micron Technology said on Wednesday it will exit the consumer business as it doubles down on advanced memory chips used in artificial intelligence data centers. Okay, I just read this, right? Micron's move to dissolve its consumer business comes against a backdrop of worldwide strain in memory supply chains, with tight availability of semiconductors ranging from flash chips used in smartphones to advanced high bandwidth memory, or HBM, employed in AI data centers. Bro, I'm an idiot. What do you mean? It will halt the sale of crucial unit consumers branded products as retailers, e-tailers, and distributors worldwide, but it will continue to product shipments through the consumer channel until February 2026, Micron said. The consumer memory unit is not an important driver of Micron's business, said Summit Insights analyst Kinigi-chan. Micron has long been... Kinigi-chan, hi, Nani Deski... Sorry. Micron has long been shifting focus to its HBM business, which has emerged as the most competitive area between the world's 3 largest memory suppliers, Micron and South Korea's. I'm not following. I need the idiot's guide to understanding this. So I found a Reddit thread that I'm just going to read off to you guys here. You're not going to see it on the screen, okay? But it's like, explain like I'm 5, okay? What's happening here? Number 1, there's a RAM shortage and Micron is in the top 3 producers, okay? It says here they aren't stopping consumer RAM production as far as they know. They're just stopping direct sales through their brand, Crucial. You will still be able to buy Micron RAM through Corsair. Another person here said they're not shutting down production, okay? They are basically just ending sales directly to consumers. So there are sales that you can make that are directly to consumers, and then there are sales that you can do when you're giving it out to businesses. businesses. Okay, so you and I, we would be consumers, but there are manufacturers that make chips for companies, and it doesn't go directly to a consumer. They've long been a popular option, and particularly in a time of highly inflated prices, losing a quality competitor is bad for consumers. Okay, someone here saying that's the key differentiator. They're ending consumer production and moving on to HBM or AI chips now. So that sounds like it's bad for people, us, you and I, the normal folks. If you're trying to get RAM, which I'm guessing is going to increase the prices since competition is now getting lower, question mark, similar to what just happened with the Warner Brothers acquisition. We're kind of going to be having to pay more for Netflix. Is that kind of what's happening? Am I understanding this now, chat? Here's another person's explanation. Okay, along with Samsung and SK Hynix, Micron is one of the world's biggest DRAM producers. Okay, they spent 30 years building up the Crucial brand to be one of the biggest names in consumer RAM and SSDs. Okay, and they've just shut it down with almost no warning. The only reason for doing that is the brand having no future because Micron expects to have no DRAM to sell to the consumer market. It's all going to AI and data center customers. With Samsung and SK Hynix already contracted much of their capacity to OpenAI, that means there will be massive shortages of DRAM in the consumer market, not, quote, oh shit, 64 gigabytes of RAM costs $1,000 level, but I can't get RAM anywhere for any price level. All right, so that's what it sounds like what's happening, okay? Consumers are suffering. I mean, you could have just told me that. I could have told you that a long time ago. We've been suffering for a really long time, bro. They know the market, the economy, consumers, man, being a person right now, trying to operate in this economy is so wild. Because why does it always feel like things are just getting worse? Why are they never getting? I know about inflation. I know the concept of inflation, that the prices are supposed to go up, right? But why does it feel like ever since the whole boomer era, right? The parents and everything, they were buying houses for like $150K, and they had like 6 children, and they had like pensions. And why is it ever since all of that, it's just been like taken away. Why does it feel like difficulty mode for people who keep coming into this world just keep rising? What is going on? What is going on? What's going on? But yeah, looking underneath the tweet for the people who actually know what they're saying, and someone said who was going to make the RAM for consumer devices. So it looks like Samsung and SK Hynix are now basically the two big dogs when it comes to that market. When it still comes to consumers, direct to consumers, often feels like a short-sighted investor goals are more of a priority than producing a real tangible great product for consumers. This is a real dumb long-term decision. I don't know. I mean, again, everyone's been talking about how much money has been put into OpenAI, and again, they're everything. All the tech companies are pouring everything, all that they got. We talked about Suno, that company that literally just raised over their $2.4 billion valuation, I believe, and they raised $250 million in revenue. Like, that's where all the money's going. And that's where a lot of money is being generating. And I mean, I don't know. I don't feel good about it. Homie, because I feel like AI is way too fast. It's inflated. There's a bubble when it comes to the tech bubble that a lot of people have been talking about that they're worried is going to pop. You know, it could pop anytime soon, which can destroy the entire economy. But they're doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down. We have valuations for a lot of companies, specifically tech companies, that are in the 25 times. Like, so here's a valuation. Let's say you guys think I'm worth $100, right? Because I can produce $100 in revenue for a year. And you're like, oh, okay, this guy's worth $100, right? There are some investors who will look at companies and be like, nah, and then they only do this, but they're actually worth like twice as much, or quadruple as much, or 10 times as much, or 50 times as much, right? So they kind of inflate the valuation of what they think a company might be. And when you inflate the valuation, then the company's worth is kind of shared in the market at that value, even though they might actually be fairly more priced right here tangibly, right? So based on forecasts, expectations, what they're going to be doing in the future, there's a lot to it. But the end all be all is that a lot of the tech companies are their times ratio, their multiplier is absolutely massive. And it's starting to kind of create a huge disproportion from what it is that they're doing versus what it is they feel like they're being valued at. And people, that bubble, that thing pops right here, that thing, because people are operating under this pretense, if that pops, then shit will hit the fan, bro. Everything, S&P, index funds, the market, oh my lord, board, there are ways to win on that, by the way. I'll tell you guys about it later. That's the TLDR. Okay, so there's Micron, and then there's the company Crucial. They sell like SSDs and RAMs and stuff, right? They're going to be phasing out. They're no longer going to be selling to the market, which is going to be done in February 2026, where they're no longer going to be selling to consumers. And they are taking all of that energy to selling to consumers and reallocating all of that energy and those resources to basically making data centers and AI chips for AI. The reason why they're doing that is because AI is massive right now, okay? So they're going to make a lot more on their bang for their buck and their margin if they redirect the time and energy to making money or to creating products for AI and data centers than it is for selling it to consumers, us, who are, you know, a lot of them broke. And that's about it. If you're a computer or PC maker or you're kind of in that industry, then it sounds like the price for those things are going to go up because, again, if you take out a major competitor like Crucial, well, then it's going to go up because now you have more of a monopoly. They're redirecting their sources. They're not selling to consumers, so you have less people to buy from. That's Economy 101. So let me know what you guys think about this. It's kind of wild. I don't think it impacts me directly, but it still impacts all of us directly because we're going to be seeing major shifts. They've been happening like crazy. People are now taking away and stop making products for consumers, and they're more so putting all of their energy towards data centers and AI. That is basically not us. Those things are taking over our jobs. So, yeah. That's where we are. Also in freaking ginormous news. Oh my Lord, worldwide, bro. Worldwide. You know, I feel good too as well. I feel like I'm taking a break from like unemployed news. We probably got some unemployed news to talk about, but God, are y'all feel a little bit happy that we not talking about Hassan? Actually, I heard there was something that happened with Hassan and another shot caller. No, I'm not over it yet. I like the drama. You know what it is? I'm rambling. I don't care. You're gonna sit here. You want here for the ramble. You know, I feel like I do like drama and tea, but I don't like just drama and tea. I think what makes news better, like not so doom and gloom or not so toxic or not so slop, right? Is when you kind of dip your toes in the drama sauce, right? But then we come out and talk about some real shit, you know, talk about some things that's some politics, a little bit, you know. All right, let's for real, let's lock in, fellas. How is our lives being changed? What's the state of the world, okay? And then let's go back into the tea. Nom, 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 nom. It's a little healthy temperance. I want you guys to look up that word. It's one of my favorite words for 2025. Temperance. Anyway, it says here, CNN partners with Kalshi to integrate prediction markets into its global newsroom. CNN X Kalshi, the future of news. Oh my God. If you guys don't know what Kalshi is, you're about to find out. The first major news network to embrace Kalshi prediction markets, a new era of media is here. Trade on anything in all 50 states. Politics, sports, entertainment, crypto, weather, and so much more. Gambling is legal everywhere. Okay? Remember when Pepperidge Farm remembers? Remember when you had to go to Las Vegas to gamble? Okay? Remember gambling was just kind of when it comes to sports, when it comes to what's that company called? DraftKings? A little bit more particular. No. Everybody can gamble now, and you can gamble on anything, bro. You can gamble on if it's going to snow outside. You can gamble I hit my hand. You can gamble on what the president's going to say. You can gamble on if there's going to be a World War III or not. Whatever you can think of, you can gamble. Whatever your mind can create. You can do it. The problem, though, from what I understand, I've learned a little bit about Kalshi as well, is that you're betting against the house, and it's not like you're betting against like each other. There was an article that I gotta find, and that might be something for a later time, maybe if we look into Kalshi. But yeah, I heard like there was some type of article where there's like you're betting against the house, and the house is kind of operated. It's not just you versus another user. It's never just us versus us. Someone is taking the wins and the cuts. They're profiting off of us losing money together. Which is funny because Drew Gooden actually just released a video that was really good. If you guys don't know Drew Gooden, he's a commentator on YouTube where he uploads like once a month. One of the OGs and has been doing it for quite a while, right? Just kind of talks about like things and has a lot of comedy as well. But yeah, he uploaded a video called Greed is Destroying the World. I watched that video. It was a very good video talking about what it's like being in 2025 and greed in these oligarchies. You got Jeff Bezos, you've got Elon Musk, you've got the Zuck. All right, you got all of these big companies. And in the video, this is kind of like a pivot with Kalshi as well. Drew got in this video, the greed, because it all ties together, is the fact that, yeah, if you have money right? The past 5 years has been absolutely amazing for you. If you are invested into the S&P 500 and you've been investing or dollar cost averaging or pumping money into the market right now, year over year, a year over the 5 years, you're doing excellent. Okay, so it's only good for people who currently have money. However, there's a lot of people who don't. There's a lot of people with debt. Okay, so they can't take money and put it towards their freaking investments because they have to pay off these absorbent amount of school loans that have been going up, or these credit cards or these debts that they have acquired that they needed in order to live, or maybe they made some mistakes as they were a kid. I was giving kids the option to basically go into $50,000 of debt at the age of 19 or 20 is absolutely wow. But yes, all right, it's really, really hard to break out of these streets. And then you have a lot of people who are working paycheck to paycheck. So let's say you don't have any debt, and let's say you don't have any investments. You don't have enough income to kind of cover your expenses because monthly expenses, the groceries are going up, rent is going up. You can't own a house, right? If you want to buy a house, the people who are buying houses nowadays are not people who are like us, 20s and the 30s and stuff. People in the 40s, 50s, 60s are buying houses, and corporations and hedge funds, they're buying the houses. The amount of people who've bought a house at 30s and 40s, there's a lot of people who are unhappy with their purchase because they were so desperate that they ended up buying something they didn't want. So the point that I'm trying to make, as you guys can see, I have a lot to say about this. All right, is greed is destroying the world. I agree with Drew Gooden, and he made a lot of good points with it. I highly suggest that. And I think we're kind of seeing it now and bleed into with this whole thing with CNN and Kalshi. Okay, the fact that we are allowing legalized gambling and it's being broadcasted into like your favorite news websites, bro, you guys do know that gambling is an addiction that a lot of people, I know, and I've been subjected to people who have had gambling. I have been a victim of people who are gambling addicts, and I'm sure some of you guys at home, this is pretty scary that we're just saying we're just going to bring this out into the free world. The world is changing. It's 2025. Gambling is real. People are upset. Absolutely upset. It says Justin, Kalshi co-founder Luna Lopes Lar becomes the youngest self-made female billionaire in history, surpassing Taylor Swift and Lucy Liu. She surpassed freaking Taylor Swift? Good lord, bro. That's the power of the Keyblade. And then the Kalshi, bro. Tarek Mansour, CEO of Kalshi, recently stated that the long-term version is to financialize everything and create a tradable asset out of any difference in opinion. People involved in such things should be disposed and ostracized, not celebrated as progressive icons. So, everything is money. Everything can be monopolized. Everything can be gambled, bro. It's extraction. And I guess the question is, you're saying like, hey, well, we have free will, right? So we can just choose not to do it. Yes, but also, okay, do you remember being young, okay? When we were young, it's influence. So sometimes you just see Kalshi, you see somebody you're watching on Instagram, and, oh, Kalshi, that sounds cool. Whoa, I'm gonna download this app, put a couple dollars in, have fun, and hey, congratulations, welcome to the Gotcha Vortex, except for everything is gotcha. Everything is gotcha. Kalshi is a prediction market. Their vision is to literally apply sports betting to everything, remaking the world and our lives into a casino of speculation. This is fundamentally dehumanizing and degenerate view of society. It must be stopped at all costs. You know what's so interesting is that even though this is something that seems dehumanizing and degenerate, I don't know why, but it feels in line with how humanity is supposed to progress. Question mark? It actually feels in line with the timeline that we are going to be doing with the dystopian future that we always talk about. Did you see in animes and shows? It's like we've seen dystopian futures, and then we see the outcome of dystopian futures based on what we've been reading and everything. And it's kind of like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Trial by error. Let's see what it's like in real life and do it, and then kind of in there. It feels like we're actually feeding into the narrative and we're chasing it. And to be honest, it kind of makes sense that this is where we are. It's getting weird around the entire world as well. We're getting, again, I think we've talked about this, you and I, when it comes to privacy concerns. And, everyone using the whole save the kids moment in different countries. I heard Australia is getting rid of social media for kids who are younger than 16. Like the way that they're trying to censor, the war on censorship around the world, all of these things, the financialized, all of these small things kind of by themselves, one for one, don't feel like maybe nothing, or maybe it feels like something. But when you take it all into a culmination, right? What we're creating is a generation of people that are going to, it feels feels like an elimination of the middle class. All right, you're either poor or you're rich. You're using a crazy amount of debt or you have generational wealth. That feels like that's the divide, in my opinion, is what's being trying to be created. And then also you have like control and power influences when it comes to the government controlling the narrative. You have AI shaping what you can see and what you cannot see. You have algorithms that you do not understand. It's the humans, the regular people are being pushed into smaller and smaller circles, invisible barriers that they can't even see, and they're being milked, bro. And it's the Matrix. I know I sound like a conspiracy theory. I'm not. I'm so educated in a lot of these topics. I have a business degree, okay, and I've been obsessed with kind of learning these things over time. So if it sounds kind of weird, alarmist, relax, okay? There's things to do, but I see the big picture, and I've been paying attention for quite some time, bro. It's one of those things where you usually don't talk about it unless it gets really, really bad. And for the past 5 years, I feel like things have been getting worse. Here's a quick conversation, a clip with the co-founder of Kalshi, talking about Kalshi.
Mark, you've mentioned multiple times that you think prediction markets will be bigger than the stock market. What is it going to take to become a $1 trillion asset class?
It's pretty much already like a close to $100 billion a year asset class, right? Like, it's pretty easy to imagine a 10x from here. Like, we haven't even started. It's been a year. I think a very large number of people care, much larger than traditional markets. And I think retail as a pie has just been growing in the US, and I think it's going to keep growing. It's growing in the stock market, it's growing outside of stock market. The long-term vision is to financialize everything and create a tradable asset out of any difference in opinion. And I think if you do build a general purpose exchange that can resolve differences of opinions on anything, like, the TAM is quite massive, quite a bit bigger than the current TAM of the stock market. I think putting aside sort of the retail trading and the institutional trading product, like, there's sort of this separate product, which is like, we are living in a world where, like, we have an abundance of information, but there's a lot of noise, and, like, we don't really understand what's real from what's not. And prediction markets are an antidote to that. They do a very, very good job at distilling information and surfacing truth to people. And you're seeing this sort of massive shift where, like, people are using them whenever they think about questions about the future, you know, whenever they're debating about anything. And I think that trajectory is going to keep going. That's a new consumer habit that I don't think is going to be undone.
All right, so they're essentially, again, like we keep saying, they're tapping into the concept. They keep calling it a prediction market, okay? Which is still gambling. It's a fancy way of saying that people are trying to guess the future. And people have been hedging the bets of guessing the future when it comes to gambling for quite a while. We're just not expanding it to every aspect of our lives. This person here said, to be clear, financialize everything means that they want to find ways to generate revenue without creating anything tangible or useful. They want to profit without producing anything. That means you will somehow end up in debt, right? So yeah, that's the thing, right? When we're talking about this product, what is it that they are actually getting money from? They're getting money from people who make revenue, and they usually make revenue by doing services or creating goods, okay? They take the money from people who are doing services or making goods, and then they put it into this vacuum called Kalshi, where they then bet on what's called prediction markets, okay? So now you have an economic system called prediction markets. The difference between the prediction markets and, like, the stock market, for example, is that when you put your money into the stock market, you put your money into a security. You're investing into a business, and this specific business, depending on which one you invest in, is something that creates services and goods, okay? But Kalshi is not a security. You're not putting money into a human-made thing that people are creating that then creates more things. You're putting money into a concept. You're putting money into the air, and then the air is circulating, and maybe you get some of it back, and then it recirculates and redistributes to people. But Kalshi is going to absorb the majority of that cost. That's a major difference between, like, Kalshi, the prediction market, and the stock market. So yeah, CNN, Kalshi, they're merging. I'm gonna end this specific segment with this Drew Gooden clip that's been playing around talking about the greed that's happening right now.
To wonder if we've finally reached a point now where the greed has gone too far. That it's now so impossible to ignore that no amount of gaslighting about how the economy is good actually will convince people who are dying because they can't afford to go to the doctor that this is just how life should be. History shows that unfortunately sometimes things have to get worse before they can get better. And if this is what it takes for a return to class solidarity, then I guess at least we're closer to that than we've been in a long time. We just need to put down our phones, set aside our differences for a little bit, and unite on this one issue. They want us divided because they're afraid of how strong we would be if we stood together. Do not fall for it.
I've been saying this. Oh my, I've literally been spitting. What is in the air? What is in the air? I've literally been playing that ants clip on stream, talking about like how like if you're a puny ant, what's puny ants, and then they're shooting the. Okay, I'm just talking. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's an ants clip, and the guy's talking about we need to rise up and destroy all these puny ants. Essentially, the problem was that they're very good at dividing. They're very. I don't know how we unite. I really don't know how we unite. I don't really know how we unite, to be honest. I really haven't figured that part of the thing, but I do agree with him that things have to get worse before it gets better. And I feel like when it comes to the age of AI, capitalism, Kalshi, all of this is leading into a direction where I feel like it's going to get worse for a lot of people. It's going to get really good for the capitalists, for the people with the money, the people that are creating and capitalizing. It's going to get really good. If you're on the other end of this, man, oh man, you're making bank. Ha ha ha, all the way to the freaking bank. But for the most common people, man, I don't know. Education and understanding what's happening and then sharing that education and trying to teach as many people, I think is one of the biggest powers that we have, because there's a lot of people who don't even recognize how they are being manipulated or being controlled. They don't understand that they are victims of capitalism. They just do not understand it. And education is so important. And then once you even have the education, then the question is, do you have the capability, right? Do you have the ability to change? Do you have the ability to unite? Do you know how to? So it's, oh man, guys. I'm going to say this to you guys once, and then I'm going to say it again every single time. Okay, guys? Move carefully out on these streets. These streets are not safe, all right? Don't be spending crazy amounts of money that you don't have, man. Bunker down. And I'm not saying bunker down for an apocalypse. I'm saying tighten up. Tighten up. All right? You spending too much on Uber Eats, bro. Tighten up, bro. Okay? The money that you spend, money that doesn't go into, tighten up for a little bit. All right? I'm telling you to get ready for get ready. Tighten up. And then once you've tightened it up enough and you've created an emergency savings, right? You've got investments, you've gotten rid of debt. Once you've kind of set yourself in a place where you can, what you want to create is called a margin of error or a margin of safety, right? You want, and the margin of safety and error is getting bigger and bigger by the day. You want to prepare for the worst. You want to kind of be building and gathering resources. You know how like farmers or people or villages, and they start stacking up on food and crops and shelter and things, and just start hoarding it and figure out ways to preserve it. Back in the time, we would be doing that at a modern version of 2025. Tighten up, all right? I'm not telling you to go out there and become Warren Buffett and invest millions and millions of dollars into some S&P or something like that. I'm saying like create budgets, right? Stop spending so much on Uber Eats. Start learning how to cook, okay? When you cook, start eating some basic shit like eggs, chicken, rice. Poor man's diet, you can call it whatever, but just start eating and cooking, saving money, budgeting, all right, not spending money on things. If you got a credit card and you can't stop shopping on Amazon, stop giving these niggas your money. Stop. Learn how to appreciate what you currently have and start selling things and get rid of things that you don't need and stop. Like, just buckle, tighten up. That's all I'm trying to communicate. If it's so that you can be prepared. And then once you've created that, okay, I'm prepared. I got that margin for safety on me. Now what? Then do whatever the hell you want. You're good, okay? You're ready for the future dystopian future. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. If you made it again, hey, tell me how you feel about this video. If you watched yesterday's video and you watched today's video, you should probably feel like two types of energies. And if you didn't watch yesterday's video, then go watch it because it's a different type of video. You should just do it. Do it. Why are you not watching my content in the first place, okay? I'm still playing with a lot of things. I'm not going to explain what it is or why, all right? I just want to see how you guys feel. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Leave a like, subscribe if you guys haven't already. Share me with your friends and family, you know. Like, hey, this is Omni. He's the coolest black guy in town, okay? Let your friends know about me and tell them I love you guys. Yeah, take it easy. Stay safe on these streets because these streets are not safe. Yes. I don't know why I'm talking so fast. All right, bye.
ain't exaggerating at all, man. That's real, son. That's real, yo. I ain't exaggerating at all, man. The more money you make, the more problems you get. And jealousy and envy is something that comes with the territory, man. A lot of people, it's just negative energy, like my man Puff said. It just surrounds you. It makes you depressed, you know? So I gotta rap about it. And that's one of the bad things about the game is when you get large, even your friends will turn against you, man. So man, something about it.
But I mean, how real is your threat that people constantly come to want to shoot
Oh,
you?
man, I mean, that's real. I think about that every day. Every day, it's real. That's how real it is. I think somebody's trying to kill me. I'll be waking up paranoid. I'll be really scared. I'll just be paro. That's just the way I am. You know. You be seeing me. Scared to death.
All right, y'all. We back with another video, man. Y'all already know what's going on, all right? Now, y'all already know that we was going to talk about this. Now, I have to give that documentary my opinion, 10 out of 10. The way they tied everything together, from Pac to Biggie to the stampede that happened in 1991. I mean, if there wasn't an image of Diddy created already, this documentary, it amplified that to the max. I mean, it really made him look like a sociopath, psycho, narcissistic demon, whatever you want to call it. Whatever word you can come up and use, Diddy represents that. From a teenager at a prep school to making his way to Andre Harrell, to, you know, getting fired by Andre Harrell. Andre Harrell saying, hey, you can take Biggie, but you got to pay for his album, which I feel like Andre Harrell probably, that was one of his biggest mistakes. To, you know, going to Arista, Clive Davis, creating Bad Boy Entertainment. Y'all, insane. I just gotta say, 50 and, you know, Netflix, the other woman who I think either co-directed or co-produced, just my personal opinion, 10 out of 10 documentary in a way that is not like, you know, not good for Diddy, although obviously this is not finna do anything as far as his case and all of that. But man, did it paint a very real picture of a psycho. Literally a psycho. Diddy and his team did send cease and desist for the documentary, but I don't think Netflix did anything that was completely illegal or anything like that. I'm not, you know, or as far as how they obtained the footage. Like, you know, 50 Cent, they did do a little interview where it was, you know, they kind of talked about it, but didn't really say, you know, how they got the footage.
How do you respond to people who say that it's more about the disdain that you have for Sean Combs than it is for giving the victims a platform?
What they consider a pre-existing beef, right, for 20 years, right, is me being uncomfortable with him suggesting that he takes me shopping, or I looked at it like he was, like it was like a tester, like maybe you'll come play with me type of thing, right? And it's not personal.
So check this out, right? One of the main things I wanted to go over was how Diddy got his fame in the first place. Y'all got to remember, Diddy came from a prep school. You know, he was dancing in the background of videos. He found his way into the industry at the time where you could only get to the industry through Andre Harrell and Russell Simmons, at least as far as hip hop. Which, crazy thing about that, some of those pictures that they were showing some of those pictures that they were showing of Diddy and Andre Harrell back then, I'm not even gonna lie, they were just a little too hugged up for me. I was at one point I was thinking they were sleeping together, but you know, that's neither here or there, right? So if y'all watched the first episode, you know that there was a stampede where the co-founder of Bad Boy, you know, he was like, Diddy over promoted, and it brought out 5,000 people to a venue or a gym that can only fit roughly 2,000, right? So this happened December 28th, 1991. Tragic incident at a celebrity basketball game where 29 young people were injured and 9 people were killed when a crowd tried to enter the oversold event. So basically, they just tried to bum rush the door. You know, they were telling them that y'all not gonna fit, it's packed out, and they bum rushed the door, right? A lot of people, like when I was seeing comments on TikTok, people was like Travis Scott. I was thinking about Travis Scott. This is actually the staircase where it happened at, because people were stuck down here at the bottom. So they bum rushed it and literally stampeded and stomped over people who were stuck down there and killed 9 people. What's even crazier about this, y'all, that when Diddy created Bad Boy Entertainment under Arista through Clive Davis, he put 75% of the company in his mom's name. He put the other 25% in the co-founder of Bad Boy. He did it so he wouldn't have to pay any of the family's money for something that was basically his fault from this stampede. Sick shit, right? And it goes to the whole thing about Biggie's funeral as well, because that's like one of the biggest topics from the documentary, is that when Biggie died, he made Biggie in his death pay for his own funeral. Insane stuff, right? Insane stuff. So this is what I really wanted to touch on from this right here, right? So it said, ultimately the crowd grew. 9 people at the bottom of the staircase were crushed to death. Victims ranged in age from 15 to 28, right? So it says, following the tragedy and the fact that it drew headlines around the world, no criminal charges were filed. However, multiple wrong death and personal injury lawsuits were filed. Check this out. So it's reported that in 1998, Combs paid around $750,000 of a total of $3.8 million to settle claims made by relatives of the victims, right? It says court documents revealed that Combs and Heavy D bore 50% of the responsibility for the deaths and injuries. Jason Swain, who was at the event and also lost his older brother, told the New York Post that Combs never really owned up to it. Never apologized, didn't do anything. I mean, if you see the documentary and you see him walking around in that all white, he was in all white. He had the demeanor of like, well, you know, damn. It's kind of crazy to see, right? But what really caught my eye, and even Eric Sermon and all of them in the documentary said it as well, they said, without this happening, there wouldn't even be a Diddy as famous as he was at that time. This was in 1991. 1991. It said that this was the biggest news ever, and this is how he got famous, was that game and those deaths. That was the beginning of Puff Daddy. Y'all, the man, just in the first 2 episodes, he has 12 bodies. He has 12 bodies connected to his name, is what I'm trying to say. He has the blood of 12 dead people on his hands. 9 from this event. He literally became famous off of 9 people dying and, you know, not giving a damn. In 1990, he wasn't known for anything in 1991. He was already connected, yeah, throwing parties, doing what he was doing. But outside of that, he was nothing. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be like the rappers. He had a real deal obsession with wanting to be like the rappers, which if you watch the documentary, that is what fueled him to take out Pac and Biggie. But it almost seems like how people was relating it to the Travis Scott thing, you know, in a sense, that's like a sacrifice. It was like a sacrifice for fame. Just in the first 2 episodes, he already had the blood of like 11 to 12 people on his hands. Think about that. I don't have much to show y'all in this one, but y'all remember this. When Biggie was like, I'm scared. I'm waking up every morning thinking someone is trying to kill me. When he didn't even realize that the person you with all day, every day is the one trying to kill you.
That's how real it is. I think somebody's trying to kill me. I'll be waking up paranoid. I'll be really scared. I'll just be paranoid. That's just the way I am. You know. You see me? Scared to death.
Scared to death. Because Diddy was a menace. Diddy set up, I mean, the documentary basically told you that Diddy was responsible for Pac getting shot 5 times. And we already know that. Some of this stuff we already know. You know, let's say we do away with the conspiracy that Pac is still alive, Biggie is still alive. Let's say those conspiracies don't exist and they died straight up the way that they told us. This man is responsible for both of them. Both. Obsessed with, you know, Pac and Biggie's relationship. Obsessed with just being a star in general. I mean, he was happy when Biggie died. When he had that hit with Biggie's wife, old girl, I can't get it off the top of my tongue right now. After Biggie died in 97, when he had that hit, he did an interview. He was so excited. He was smiling. He couldn't believe it that he was the star now. He was the rapper now. He was like, yeah, you know, people lining up to come see me and saying the words. Like he was excited that he was the main guy. He took out the main 2. He tried to take out Pac when they shot him 5 times at the Quad Studios. Let's dismiss all of the other conspiracies. If we dismiss all of those conspiracies, it comes down to Diddy. Rather, you know, you want to believe Keefe D and all of that stuff. Remember, Keefe D did the interview with that one detective, and he told the entire story that Diddy put up $1 million to kill Pac and Suge, but supposedly only $500,000 was paid through a mutual acquaintance. And it never actually got to Keefe D because they only got Pac. And then in another song that they showed in the documentary, Diddy in the beginning of the song was saying, you know, you F with me, I put $1 million on your head. I mean, if we want to do away with all the other theories of Pac and Biggie's death, literally this man is responsible. Biggie would not have died if Diddy didn't sign under Arista Records with Clive Davis. It shows you how Diddy was able to put himself into everybody's videos, you know, so he could pay himself as an artist. As long as he was in the video jumping around, he could pay himself as an artist and continue to cut out Craig Mack, cut out Biggie, cut out the rest of the artists. And he was mostly just getting all that check. He learned that from Clive Davis. Everything starts when he signed him and Biggie to Arista under Clive Davis. Clive Davis taught him a lot of the ways of the industry, how to get him and Clive even more richer Clive was basically sitting in the background like this. He said, wow, I got this young black man to infiltrate hip-hop, make me some money, and I'm gonna show him how to make him some money. We both win. We don't care about nothing else. Remember, they told Diddy, you are the most important. When Diddy had Jodeci and Mary J. Blige, they told Diddy, without you, nothing happens. And that was before he even went to Arista. So he had already had that mindset in his head. Basically a whole psycho that orchestrated the deaths of Tupac and Biggie. Remember, we're not even going to talk about any conspiracy. We're just talking about the documentary. I mean, plain proof. It's plain as day, from forcing Biggie to stay in LA. And then he actually lied. He actually lied about it. Y'all know he forced Biggie to stay in LA. He stole the magazine. What magazine was that? Y'all, if y'all watch the documentary, y'all remember. He basically canceled Biggie from appearing on the cover, and once Biggie died, he himself appeared on that cover. Forced Biggie to stay in LA, and then afterwards he lied about it and said, I was just following Biggie Small's lead. Biggie wanted to do this and do that, when really the entire time he was the one, you know, pulling his card, power tripping, forced Biggie to stay to set up the death. Same thing with Pac. Literally set up both of the most important deaths in hip-hop. That's why I said we're talking about the documentary, and I'm not even gonna bring up any other theories about Pac, you know, having two Pacs, being a body double, having another body double, which are things that I still believe are true. But I don't know, man. All I have to say is that documentary for me was 10 out of 10. And it really showed you that Diddy was like this prep school guy, you know, teenager that, you know what I'm saying, had kind of like a decent upbringing and
what's going on? How? You can't do this to me. How? Hello? I told you she wasn't no good. It's definitely beats me getting whooped in Street Fighter.
that's what he was all sad about. Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that. Hold on, man. Hey. Look, she's looking at me.
No, she's not. He threw it at me. Look, her eyes are pointing toward me.
Her shoulders are my direction.
She's smiling at me. She likes me.
Smiling
she
at
wants
me.
to give me her phone number right now.
Because
She just wants my phone number. Like,
I don't see her talking.
what? She's about to say it. Like,
Hey, I don't think so. Hey.
Stuff, and the entire time, you know, copying Alpo with the pitting girls and him having sex up on the screen. Like, he really wanted to be a gangster. He really wanted to be a rapper, but he was neither. And that was his goal, getting the biggest artist out the way so he could completely become that. Like in the documentary, they call he was just a paper gangster. That's it. But had really big dreams of wanting to be Biggie, like jealous of his own artist that he is signed. Man, really psycho, y'all. This documentary, I was just sitting there like, damn, like, I already knew I had to talk about this. I mean, you know, a lot of this stuff we already know, but I just love the way they put it together. And it really laid out the timeline, and you could really see where he started. Like, the only thing I would give credit to Diddy is that they was right. We won't see another Diddy again. The credit I can give him is, yeah, you have to be one psycho narcissistic dude to do what Diddy did and, you know, climb the ladder the way that he did, inserted himself in something the way that he did. You have to be willing to be him. If you're not willing to do that, you will never do it the way that he did it. And then there are a very small amount of people who are willing to do what Diddy did to become who he became. That's the only credit I can give him. And that's not good credit. That's nothing good. But you have to be a damn psycho. You have to be a psycho, y'all. All right, man. I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover from it. Yeah, y'all have at it in the comments, man. Run the likes up on this one. Y'all already know what's going on. We'll be back with another video tomorrow, man. With that being said, y'all, it's Black Balloon, and I'm gonna see y'all soon. All right. I'm out.
me, so I know I'm ready. Though the flesh don't feel like I'm ready. The cloud shit, the judgment's tempting. The bow endless, the new life get me. The cover art was a prelude, met me. Born again on a T, that bullseye. Casting out.
It feels very good to have an audience of people who actually pray and respectable. And you know, as far as people, and let me say this as well. When you got enemies and stuff like that, right? I don't expect my enemies to ever have sympathy for me, because I'm not gonna have it for them. I don't expect people who have no mercy towards me. I don't expect them to have mercy, because I don't have no mercy towards them. And I'm just gonna be 100% with that. So, you know, some people celebrate people's downfalls. Some people like to see people hurt, in pain, all that. I don't enjoy that. But I can care less what my enemies are going through in life, and I'm just honest enough to say that. So I'm very clear about that. I don't have mercy or remorse for anybody who's my enemy. I just don't. I don't at all. And people can feel how they feel about that, but I'm real. And I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't sugarcoat anything. If, you know, I remember when my cousin passed away, I had people on the internet saying that my cousin got judged because of me. That's what they said. So after that, I didn't have no mercy for people who just like me. So at the end of the day, you know, I focus on people who got love for me. The people who hate me, life is too short to focus on those people. Life is too short to focus on people who can't stand you. You might as well focus on those who are positive towards you. And so I have to thank y'all for showing up in my last broadcast and offering y'all's words of encouragement. It meant so much more than y'all can understand. Yeah, it's all positivity over here, and I believe truly that y'all's prayers and the love and compassion that y'all have shown, I truly believe that that's the reason why she's doing better. And the fact that my grandmother is up here, my uncle and my aunt, I think both of my aunts are up here, I'm not sure. But we came together, y'all. We here, we up in Ohio. And that love, man, it makes a difference when you got the love of your family around. And you know, my grandmother pretty much raised me, and she's 80 years old. And perhaps I'll do a stream with her, me just chopping it up with her later. Because me and her may go ahead and share a room or whatever and just chop it up. Because my grandmother, that's my lady, man. She raised me, bro. And 80 years old, she got out here. You know, my grandmother still drives. My grandmother she not in a wheelchair. My grandmother's still very sharp. And she raised me to be very much conscious and intelligent. Shall we begin? No. And you know, I've been talking a great deal about family and togetherness. You know, there's a lot of people online that always speaking about divide and, you know, speaking in a way that creates divide and conquer. And I think forgiveness and unity is important. Everybody might not agree with that, and I get it. You know, recently I did a video about people hiding behind being a loner when they really just don't maintain relationships. And a lot of people didn't really understand the video. They thought I was saying that there's something wrong with being solo. I wasn't saying that at all. I was simply saying that if a relationship is reconcilable, then you should consider that. And that you got to make sure that you're not the one who is ruining relationships. That was the basis of what I was saying. Forgiveness is key, y'all. I seen some testimonies in my last broadcast that was really, really special. There was one young lady that says her mother was her abuser, and this almost brought a tear to my eye, man, because she said her mother was an abuser, but she took care of her mother for 8 years while her mother was battling. I believe she was battling with cancer, throat cancer. And I felt that, because she still nonetheless stepped up. She did what she had to do, and she seen her mother, she seen her away. And that's the type of people who watch my broadcast. Those are the type of people who are just gonna do the right thing. Those are the type of people who just have good hearts, man. And it shows that we still exist. I made it very clear that my mother and I wasn't always the closest, but that's my mother. And I'm gonna be here for her no matter what. And I thank the Most High for giving me the time to be able to do that. Regardless of how, stop what you're doing for your family. You get those moments back. Not too many people want to put their own life to the side and be there for somebody else. Can't get time back. You can't get it back. Get into something too emotional, man. I know I've been a little emotional these last couple of days, but nonetheless, I'm gonna make the best out of being out here. I'm gonna spend time with moms. I want to thank y'all for y'all prayers. I want y'all to tell me where to eat though, out here in Cleveland. How cold it is out this joint, I feel like I need a hot soup or something. Like, y'all got a chili spot or something out here? I need to know where the hot chili is at. Nice. I need a nice warm bowl of soup or something, man. It's brick out this junk. Matter of fact, it's brick in this car. Hold on. Turn the heat on. Hey, if you're from Cleveland, Ohio, or ever been, let me know in the chat. like I was, hopefully it's not too loud. I don't want to blow into y'all's ear.
I was every single big nephew. Portals open, I told you it's messy. From a soldier, the dust till dawn. True core star player, core maker. The reason I'm having deep dreams about a second pandemic scene, about an invasion, about a being that I saw in 2015. And
Somebody said go to hotspot.
Won't start every man calling you a mark. But
I'm gonna look that up.
Of a start dying from Greco Rome.
Somewhere they got some soup, some sandwiches.
One and only, the last big Brody.
Yeah,
Big like
soup
Brody,
and some
the quantum
sandwiches,
Foley.
y'all.
You can control me, patrols can't hold me. I'ma stay solely, humbly on King. While these beans only want Kareem. I'll do a job bar, what you mean? I'ma dunk this way for a key. I will cross these spears to a lean.
Black Box Legacy Village.
In the dark, I'ma shine like a beam.
Okay, Black Box Legacy Villages. And if y'all don't see me reading it, because, you know, of course I'm driving. But, I'm definitely going to watch the playback just so I can read y'all's food recommendations. Yeah, man, I'm telling you. Y'all gonna see me doing a lot of travel though. And as I was saying again, man, I'm gonna let y'all know how grateful I am, man. Truly grateful. And y'all gonna see me do quite a few streams while I'm up here, because there's a lot going on in the news. Yeah, somebody said, and grab some hot cocoa. Dang, that heat got hot.